Hello, my friends. It's Phil Grant with Baird and Warner in Crystal Lake, welcoming you to another edition of the Real Estate Minute. This is, of course, where we talk about all things real estate, be it buying, selling, or leasing, be it commercial or residential, really in the hopes of helping you to be a better, more informed purchaser, seller, lessee, or lessor when it comes time to deal with real estate matters in your world. Great to be back with you after a rather long hiatus. Hope things have been going well for you and yours. What I thought we'd do today is simply take a quick look at how the commercial segment, the commercial industry, has fared during the first quarter of 2023. These numbers come from the National Association of Realtors, and the numbers we're going to look at today really involve the Chicagoland area. If you don't know, the commercial real estate industry is broken down into segments. You have segments such as retail space, you've got office space, you've got multifamily, you have industrial, you also have commercial land, which comes under that commercial umbrella as well. So let's take a quick look at some numbers to see how those varying segments fared. First one we're going to look at is office space. And of course, since the pandemic, office space has been hit the hardest of all of these segments. A lot of people working from home. The dynamic really has changed in a lot of offices and for a lot of offices. So if we look at the first number, it's called net absorption by square footage. And again, this is important because it gives you a tracking of where things are headed. Absorption talks about the amount of space occupied at the end of a given period of time, less the space that was occupied at the beginning of the period of time. So again, it does give you a track record. If we look at Q1 in 2023, we see a negative 1.7 million. So again, we've lost ground there. We take a look at that number in 2022, and it was a little better than 342,000. So a big disparity there. If you look at vacancy rates in office, again, we're looking in 2023 at 15.7%, which is high. It was 15.1% in 2022. Now, the cap rates in office space have stayed relatively good because of the demand not being there. If we look at the cap rate in 2023, 7.6%. Same thing for 2022. So again, that number has stayed static, and that cap rate number is again important to investors. If we hop over to the multifamily industry and we look at the inventory units that are available, we can see 500 and better than 543,000 in 23. That number was 537,000 in 2022. Again, staying pretty stagnant. The cap rates, if we look at the cap rates in multifamily, here again, we see a number which is 5.6%, which was the identical number that we had in 2022. So that number has indeed stayed static, as has the vacancy rate at 5.5% in 2023 versus 2022, which was the same number. So again, multifamily and industrial really have been the shining stars in the commercial real estate world over the past few years. If we look at retail, we're seeing some improvement there. Again, if we look at the net absorption, we see a positive number of over 1 million square feet as compared to 125,000, almost 126,000 in 2022. So that means we're gaining ground as far as getting these retail spaces filled up. If we look at vacancy rate in retail, we're down to 5.3 this year, quarter one, versus 5.9 that we looked at in 22. So again, we are making some headway there in the retail environment, so that's a good thing. Again, industrial demand in and around the Chicago area is stronger than it is nationwide. If we look at market rents, for example, in 2023, we see $9 a square foot versus $8 a square foot that we saw in 2022. Vacancy rate in industrial, 4% versus 4.7% last year. So again, we're making even more strides there. If we look at cap rates, we see cap rates running at 6.6% versus 6.5% there. So again, industrial remains very, very strong. So that's a very quick look at the commercial segments in the Chicagoland area in 2023 versus 2022. Again, these can be important numbers if you're looking to buy, sell, or lease commercial properties. Real quickly, I'll talk about 3 listings that I've got in my portfolio. The first one is a piece of commercial ground in Cary, on Cary-Algonquin Road. This is an area that is ripe with development as far as the residential end of things go. And again, this is 2.9 acres, sits right on Cary-Algonquin Road, so you've got a good deal of traffic going by. Great place for maybe a strip mall. There is a little strip mall across the street, so that might work. The village is also open. Village of Cary is also open to looking at residential use for this property. So that's number one. Number two, it's a marvelous piece in Mundelein. This sits on a little better than 3 acres. It faces Route 176, which is quite busy. It also faces Shank Boulevard, which is also quite busy. Steps, literally steps to the east is Route 60 and 83. There are 3 structures on this property. I really think the value is in the land. If you're looking for a retail development, I think this would be a great piece, a great possibility for you. It's currently in unincorporated Lake County, but the village of Mundelein certainly is interested in having this parcel annexed into Mundelein itself. Finally, we've got a trucking terminal that is on the market in Woodstock. This sits on 14 acres. You've got about 63 bays. You're able to park about 100 semi-trailers and tractors, which is currently what's going on there, which again helps bring income in. You've got a built-in tenant here that's got about 4 years left, I think, on a lease, so that is again built-in income. This also does happen to sit in a couple of very interesting areas as far as the city of Woodstock goes. It is in the TIF district, which can help with future development down the road. So again, any questions about that, any questions about commercial or residential real estate, reach out to me please at area code 773-814-5369. I'll be happy to chat with you about anything you'd like to talk about. Thanks very much for watching. I hope everything is well with you and your family. Please take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.